Hey you guys, welcome back to Libro review. I hope you're doing very nice and I'm sending a lot of hugs and positivity to all of you. Today's video is a July wrap up and August TBR. I am pretty late at it, but who cares? Let me just start with it because I've read some amazing books this month. Let's just begin. Yes, if you're new to the channel, just a little information that I do these wrap up videos every single month. I've been doing it since January, where in the wrap up part I tell you all the books that I have read in the previous month and I talk about them and how it, like, if I enjoyed it or not and all those kind of things, and then I share my TBR for the next month. So in this case for August, but I've done the same thing from January also. If you want to check out the other videos, I will leave them in the description. Now without further ado, let's begin. The first book that I read in the month of July was Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. You know, like, if you see the last video that I posted, like the last wrap up video, you will see why I picked this book up and like the reason for it. And I remember how I was feeling in June, you know, like towards the end of June, in July. Okay, July was last month. Oh my god, quarantine is getting on my head when it comes to all the dates and everything. But yes, I remember how I was feeling in the previous month. I felt very creatively juiced out. This book talks about the 6 essentials that we need in order to have a courageous and creative living, and all those 6 essentials are free. Like, that's a thing, they're free, and I am recommending this so much if you feel like, you know, your life is a routine, if you feel like you're just, I don't know, bored of life, if you're bored of stuff, if you're just not feeling alive or something like that. It's a non-fiction self-help book, but it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. She has written it in such a beautiful way. I highly recommend it and I'm so happy I read it. The next book is Looking for Alaska by John Green. Now I wanted to read something by John Green, given that I had read Turtles All the Way Down. I was like, let me just read a few more books. I will probably read Fault in Our Stars again this month to judge the author better. But this month I read Looking for Alaska. Now it was not there on my TBR. I was not going to read it, but I was bored one day and I really wanted to read, and I was reading another book at that time also, but I wanted to read something fiction, so that's the reason I picked it up. It was an okay read for me. I got a lot of people telling me that they love the book. I got a lot of people telling me that they don't like the book, and for me it was like okay. I feel like I'm not in the age where I can enjoy this book. Maybe not, I have no idea. So it is basically the story of these 3 or 4, you know, high school going I think they're going to high school going students, you know, how they're spending their days. And then there is a twist. Miles, who is the protagonist of the book, falls in love with Alaska. The story was not bad. It was not extremely good, but it was not bad. So yeah. The next book I read is 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. Now, oh my god, again, this was not on my TBR, but again, I was getting bored and I had to finish the book. I read this book in one day, within a few hours, and that is one thing that I love by Paulo Coelho. Like, his books are so cool, except the Zahir. You can just read it within a day. Like this. Then I'm reading Hippie right now. It is a book that you can read within a day, and The Alchemist. These are all the books that I read within a day, and oh my god, this is the story of Maria. She just wants someone to love her. She just wants someone to just, love her, basically, like unconditionally. She's looking for that love since like a long time, since she's a teenager, but she doesn't get it, and then she falls into this prostitute life which is not meant for her, but she does it anyway. And this is basically also like her story of self-discovery, and then what happens when she's not able to find that love, and when all the people have betrayed her and all those kind of things. So it's a beautiful story. Not recommended for children, not recommended even like for like young teenagers or something. It's only like for adults, probably. Like, yeah, that's what you can say, like young adults. But such a beautiful book. Paulo Coelho can make anything so spiritual and so philosophical and so beautiful. Like, I love philosophy, you guys know it. Like, I love philosophy, I love spirituality, and this is that kind of a book. I loved it so much. Like, the depth, the writing style, beautiful. Next 3 books are the books that I read for a readathon, and the first book is The 14th Letter by Claire Evans. Honestly speaking, I did not even know, but this book is set in the Victorian era, and that is the kind of of language, or that is the kind of book that I'm not very used to. So because of that, I do have my issues with the language, like, but that's personal to me. It's not like the language was very difficult, but again, it was like very old age, it was very like sophisticated British, that kind of a language. So that's the reason, like, that was a little difficult for me. It made it difficult for me to read the book because of the writing style and the language. It took me, like, I read it in one day, but it did take me time personally. So that is one thing, but the story is really nice. It's a mystery thriller novel and the story is really nice. The next book is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. Now this is the story of Siddhartha himself and his journey of self-discovery. Such a simple book, such a thin book, and it still took me 3 days to finish this book because I was reading it so slowly so that I understand each and everything, because of how beautiful the entire philosophy of the book is. The best part about this book is that it is of a very normal man. It is not something that only, you know, special people do or stuff like that. It's a story of a normal man who is trying to discover himself, discover his soul, and this is his story. Very relatable. Like, I feel like even especially for like the youth, for the youngsters, we want to pave our own path, we want to do the things our own way, and for us this book is really inspirational. So I really enjoyed the book a lot. If you're a beginner and you want to start reading something philosophical and spiritual, then you can start with this book. The next book I read is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and oh my god, like, I read On the Come Up I read On the Come Up before The Hate You Give. I don't know why I did that to myself. Like, my expectations were so low when it came to this book, but it was still high because it was a bestseller. But I had to read it because one of the prompts of the readathon was reading a book by a black author. I am blown. So this is basically the story of Star. Her best friend is killed, and now she has witnessed that entire scene. But now if she speaks up, then she and her family is in trouble. If she doesn't speak up, then she's not doing justice to her entire community, to her best friend, and all those kind of things. Such a beautiful story, such easy language. Finished it in one day. Of course, it took me a lot of time, but the language was really easy, and I read it for the readathon. That's the reason I finished it that fast. But if I was just reading it normally, then I would take my time with it. But I loved reading this book so much. I don't care what your book preferences are. I don't care if you're a reader or not. You have to read this book. I was able to relate everything that happened with George Floyd, and that just made this book very powerful and very, I don't have like the right word, but I just loved this book. You must read this book at least once in your life. The next book is The Art of Losing Control by Jules Evans. Now this is the book that I started out with. I loved reading it in the beginning, but later on I got a little bored because it has a lot of like facts and historical things. I'm not a lot into history, so that's the reason I got a little bored, and that's when I started picking up all these different books. But apart from that, it's actually a very good book. Like, it's not like I did not like it at all or something like that. A big book based on ecstasy, you know, how the pleasure of living, the pleasure of losing control, the pleasure of not like just looking at the things rationally, but beyond that, like the pleasure of getting into a flow, all those kind of things. And it's amazing. Like, that is the kind of thing that I want in my life. That is the kind of life I am aiming for, where I'm able to get into a flow of something so that I lose sense of everything else, the kind of flow that I get into when I'm shooting my videos. So yeah, like, I really enjoyed it, but yeah, the historical facts just made it a little slow for me. The next book is The Boy and Striped Pajamas by, I forget the author's name all the time, John Boyne, I think that's how it's pronounced. This is the story of Bruno. It's from a child's perspective. He has been shifted to another house and he has to leave all his friends behind, and he has been shifted to this place, and from there, from his window, he's able to see this place, like a farm, and there are people who are wearing pajamas, like striped pajamas, and he doesn't get any friends. So that's the reason he explores, and then he finds this guy, like the boy in striped pajamas, and he just becomes friends with them. Now this is a very simple thing that I have told you, but this book, let me just see if I can tell this to you or not. okay, I cannot tell this to you actually, but it is based on the time during the war, like the war in Germany, so you can get an idea of what is happening. And Bruno and that other kid are not able to play with each other. So why are they not able to play with each other? So I can't tell you more than that, you have to read the book for it. But I love this book so much because one, it's from a child's perspective that makes the book so innocent, and two, the book is not innocent. The book is talking about horrible things that you like, it just makes me really emotional if I think about it that way. But the book is written in such an innocent way, in such an innocent language. Why? Because it's from a kid's perspective. So I really loved the writing style and how the author was able to make all those kind of things so innocent, and the ending, just like, I was crying, of course. So another great book. The next book is The Wives by Lauren Weisberger. I still did not Google how to say her name, but this is the story of three women going through their own struggles, but they're also helping each other at the same time. One is going through her husband is not treating her right, her husband is playing some games and all those kind of things. Emily is actually into media, she is into PR, but she's losing all her clients. And then we have Miriam, who has all the children, and she's feeling very insecure about herself. So it's a very light, cool read. I loved reading the book so much. It also celebrates sisterhood. The language is very easy. Again, I read it in like 3 days after, so it helped me get over my reading slump. The next book I read was 8 Minutes Meditation, and now this is the book that will help you to start meditating within, and then it also teaches you like different kinds of meditations that you can do within a span of 8 weeks, and you will get into a habit of meditating. I love this book because of how step by step it is. It busts all the myths around meditation, and I want to start meditation myself, so I read this book. The language is very easy. It's an amazing book. Now let's talk about the TBR, or the to be read of August. The first book is Asura by Anand and Neelkantan. I have started reading this already and I'm loving it so much. This is the story, like this is Ramayana from Ravan's point of view. Next up we have Hippie, almost done with it, by Paulo Coelho, and it's on my TBR since ages. It was also on my TBR last month, but I was not able to finish it, but I've already started reading it. I'm almost about to finish it already, so I'm happy about that. And again, Paulo Coelho. The next book I want to read is Brief Answers to the Big Questions by Stephen Hawking. Now this book I wouldn't usually read, but this month I only have 6 books on my TBR because I want to read more things that will expand my knowledge, that will make me more knowledgeable, more informative, and all those kind of things. Books that will help me grow, and books that are difficult for me to read, and all those kind of things. So that's the reason I've chosen these books, and this is one of them, and I couldn't miss out on it if I've dedicated a whole month to these kind of books. Next book on my TBR is 1984 by George Orwell. Now I have no idea what the story is about and everything. I've read the blurb, but I still don't have an idea. Next book is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I have left this book, I dropped this book a few months back because of how difficult the language was, but just as I said, I want to finish reading difficult books this month, so I picked it up. Last book for this month is The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, or Timothy Ferriss. Yes, I know him as Tim Ferriss actually. And again, I actually want to learn more about these things. I actually am thinking about developing more, like, I don't know, some stuff. Personally, for myself, I want to build a business for myself, and I think this will be a good start for it, given that a lot of people have recommended that it's a good book when it comes to such topics. So yes, you guys, this was it for today. This was my August TBR and my July wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I read some amazing books, and all the 1-minute reviews of all the books that I read in July are going to come up in the month of August on my Instagram, so make sure you follow me over there. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe, share, like, comment, bell button, all those great things. And that is it. I'll see you guys soon.